So whatever recording that we will be having will be shared inside this KLMS. Okay, later I will provide the recording inside this KLMS. So the video provided in the KLMS is in Malay version. Basically, it's available in our YouTube channel, but this is provided in Malay. Okay, this is provided in Malay. So the English version, which I'm recording currently, will be available later lah. So it will be also available in the YouTube channel. You can you can search for FSTM quiz in the YouTube channel. Oh, sorry. Okay, try this. The password of our KLMS is uh, the username. Sorry, the matrix number. Okay, kalau semua apa benda ni. Okay, the matrix number. If you have alphabet in the matrix number, make sure it is in lowercase. And then the temporary password is ABCD 1 2 3 4. Try to log in to your KLMS.
Boleh masuk dah.
Boleh,
Okay.
sir. Dah boleh dah.
So head for our subject TMMT 6193. I'm not using Google Classroom. So this will be our main learning portal. All our recorded video will be available later inside this portal. So if you are not familiar with KLMS, this is basically a Moodle based learning management system. You can see your courses on your left side. Can you see our subject here, TMMT, inside
Yes.
my courses? If you cannot see it, you need to add. Boleh nampak tak dia punya menu ni? Kalau tak ada, you need to add.
Boleh.
Boleh nampak semua? Okay. So make sure to have the menu of our subject TMMT 6193. So if it is not available, then you need to add. You need to add into my courses.
Okay, sir.
If you don't see the menu, I can help you to add the course. Amma, can you see the course?
Yeah, I see.
Shikin,
Yes, sir. I see.
Azlin.
Yes.
Okay.
I can see.
Alhamdulillah. So you can click on the attendance item. Then you can tick present. So that's how we record the attendance. Then this is the assignment. I will be opening the assignment submission box until the end of the semester. So this is basically the site is basically a broken link. Later I will I'll fix it now lah. Okay, and also you can see this is provided from our previous classes lah, previous batch. Somehow you can refer to either one lah, the Malay version, the one that has been provided is the Malay version. The English version I will be updating for every week lah after our lesson, our class. So whatever submission, whatever video you would like to refer, just come back to this portal KLMS. I will
Okay.
not be using Google Classroom or so whatever resources will be available inside this KLMS.
Okay.
So I would like to go for the performa or our course outline. So this is our course outline. The prerequisite of this class is basically the PHP knowledge. I'm sure you all are aware of what is PHP is all about. So previously we have been, you have been exploring PHP and web programming. So the difference between your previous web programming class, between your previous programming class with this advanced, so-called advanced web application development is basically current in this subject we will be using a framework. A framework is basically a rapid development prototyping whereby you are not you don't need to start coding your web application from scratch, meaning that, so let's say previously when you did web programming or PHP, whatever connection to database you will need to hard code it. Hard code means you need to start typing from scratch. So everything you need to do it from scratch. So let's say you would like to create a login facilities. So let's say in PHP, in your previous experience, if you are trying to create a login page, you need to first define the database, okay, the database of the users, and then you need to create the interface of the login form and the logout facilities, and also the session facilities, which are you need to bake it from scratch. You need to do it from scratch. So you need to code line by line. Okay, you need to code line by line. So the major difference of using the framework is the most of the basic facilities for web system is already available, and you need to somehow you need to simply call it. So because framework is basically an OOP or object-oriented programming type of library, so you need to know how to call it. So let's say you would like to do authentication, you need to know what is the library that is needed for that particular task, authentication, and you need to know how to call for the authentication process. Okay, if you like to do the logout, simply call the logout method or logout API, and then the framework will do it for you. You don't have to sort of do it from scratch. Okay, you don't have to do it from scratch. So everything, not everything, most of the basic things in this framework is already available for you to use, for you to reuse. Okay, that's the best part of using a framework. Okay, that's the best part of using framework, because you don't have to actually do it everything from scratch. So you just need to reuse the application programming interface to do whatever task that you are required to do. So for instance, let's say login or login or logout process. So most of the things has been is there for you. Okay, is there for you to reuse. You don't have to do it from scratch. So that's the best. That's the fundamental difference of using the framework and also using the vanilla PHP sort of programming style. But the so can we go to the what we call the cost structure? No, the cost outline. So the first thing that you will learn, explore is obviously the introduction part, and then we have the this is called the responsive web design part. Uh, I'm not sure whether you have gone through this responsive web design part or not, but I would like to try. I will guide you how to use what is responsive web design, or what is CSS framework, and also the JavaScript framework. So that is for early chapter that we will explore. So maybe previously you learned about CSS, but in this subject, in this class, we will be exploring more on the what we call as already available framework. My favorite is Bootstrap. My favorite is Bootstrap. And we also be I will be also introducing you to JavaScript framework, which will be using jQuery. jQuery. Okay, a simple. It's not a simple web framework. It's something that been used in the industry. So we will be exploring CSS framework, JavaScript framework, and this is the best part of our subject, which is the MVC framework. Okay, MVC framework is basically we will be exploring M is for model, V is for view, and C is for what we call as C is controller. Okay, so the main framework that will be used in this subject is Laravel. Okay, the name is Laravel. Okay, the name is Laravel. I didn't mention anything about Laravel in the course outline. Okay, because there's a lot of framework available in the industry or in currently. You can see something like Code Igniter. Okay, Code Igniter is one of the, one of the early framework, Cake PHP, available in PHP. So we have Spring, okay, Spring in Java. We are not trying to explore everything, but you just need to know what is available framework available in the market right now. So for Visual Studio, you have the .NET framework. Okay, the .NET framework that is for different environment. That is for Microsoft environment. So currently we are exploring more on the open source side lah, which is based on PHP, and on my part I will choose Laravel. Okay, I will choose Laravel. we will be focusing only on Laravel. Okay, I don't want to go to all these frameworks. Might as well we need to concentrate on one only lah. So Laravel is basically an extension of PHP. Supposedly, if you would like to know Laravel more, you need to not master lah. You need to have experience on PHP. The challenge is maybe on the what we call as the OOP side or object-oriented programming part, because Laravel is heavily relying on OOP of the PHP, meaning that the implementation of Laravel framework is using the OOP. So somehow rather you need to know also on the OOP concept, okay, OOP concept. But most importantly, you need to familiar with PHP lah. Okay, you need to familiar with PHP. Maybe you can, we can, I will walk you through PHP, because maybe most of you, yeah, maybe you have experience in PHP, but you are not, dah lupa lah kot, okay, dah lupa lah kot. So I will walk you through PHP. Simple walkthrough. Somehow rather, if you like to know more on PHP, I can provide. You may enroll to another subject in the KLMS where you can see all the materials on PHP, if you like to lah. You can find, or you can add TBMT 2053 to your KLMS. It's available in the KLMS. If you like to know more on PHP, you may review this what we call. Okay, I will provide you link. I'll provide you the link in the WhatsApp group. So you can add to your list of courses. You can add to your list of courses. Just click on this link and then add to your class, add to your list. If you like to know more on PHP, or you would like to revise about PHP, so it's available also in the KLMS. So for this class, you need to install Laravel. Okay, you need to install Laravel. You need to install Laravel. But before that, I would like to go through to what is web programming, and also a fast revision on PHP. Okay, a fast revision on PHP. So this is for our introduction. So basically, you have known PHP for a while. Okay, you know this three-tier application concept, whereby you need to wait. So this is basically a web programming concept, a bit about web programming concept a review on this part, whereby you have the client as a browser or as the interface, middleware, the PHP, and also the database part. Bear in mind, this is a programming class, advanced. We call it advanced web programming, and it's expect programming. Okay, I don't do wizard or something like that. So this is more on programming. So we will be exploring HTML, CSS, and jQuery, but in a framework form. Okay, in framework style. Okay, in a framework style. It's not a procedural programming style. We will be having more on the OOP part or the framework. So you need to have the Laragon. Why? Because for web development, we need to have a web server. In this subject, we will be using Apache Web Server, and we also need to have Apache PHP interpreter. So all these are available, and also database MariaDB or MySQL is available in laragon.org. So you need to download this Laragon installer and maybe previously you know about XAMPP or WAM or Apache Friends. So I will not be using Apache Friends or XAMPP. So you need to change your development stack into Laragon, because there's one facilities that you need to know on Laragon, which is the composer. Okay, I'll brief later on the composer part, but right now you may want to download the Laragon. So this is our development stack. I will share this link to our group. So you need to download from laragon.org. So download Laragon from laragon.org. So it will be used along the semester, throughout the semester. Okay, we will be using Laragon throughout the semester. So this is basically the introduction part of how to set up our development environment. So you need to download the Laragon from this page. Okay, make sure to download the full. Okay, the Laragon full. So download from here. You may download later lah.
Is it for Windows or
Is it for Windows?
Mac iOS? I mean iOS MacBook.
Are you using MacBook?
Yes,
Oh, Akbar.
but I have a PC, so
The
I also using MacBook, sir.
you need to resort, if you're using MacBook, then you need to resort for installing Laravel for MacBook lah.
okay.
It's not that it's not an easy task basically to install Laravel on Mac. Because you need to install several items or several software. They don't have Laragon for Mac.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, they don't have a Laragon for Mac. Or maybe you can use XAMPP. You may use XAMPP, XAMPP. There's a Mac version for XAMPP, right? Easier approach, you need to install from scratch lah. Okay, you need to install from scratch. We have several requirement. Sorry, I never prepare for Mac, so you need to Google.
Okay, sir.
Because I never have a MacBook.
All right.
Okay, so for the main framework, which is the Laravel, we will be exploring how to do what we call as Mvc Framework Implementation. We will be having database migration. We will also have our CRUD, CRUD, create, read, update, and delete facilities. And obviously, we will be doing search, edit, update, delete, and also the login, logout facilities. So basically, we will be developing a simple PHP or Laravel application, web application, using the Laravel framework style, or we call it MVC. Easier approach, I think you need to install XAMPP for Mac environment, but somehow we also need to do some command lines that, or we call it PHP artisan. So this PHP artisan will actually help you manage the Laravel project. So if you have Laragon, this is the interface. If you already have installed Laragon, this is the interface. So basically, this is the server facilities, and then you have the web button. This is to run your interface or your project. So this is for your database facilities. You can manipulate the database from here. So this is the what we call as the composer part, whereby you need to have your terminal lah. Terminal, okay, this is terminal. And then this is the web root folder. Okay, this is the web root folder. So by right, if you are using Mac, you need to go to var www html, something like that. I believe Mac is sort of Unix punya family kan. So dia lebih kurang dalam var/www/html. That one is after you install Apache. Okay. So we will be using HTML. Most of the interface will be using HTML. Because when we are developing a web system, by right you need to have interface. Okay, you need to have interface. So on the interface side, we will be using HTML. Okay, we will be using HTML. So somehow or other you need to revise. Okay, you need to do some sort of revision. What is HTML is all about, and then what is responsive web design. So basically, this is also covered in our syllabus or in our proforma. What is responsive web design? So because we are having major revamp since the iPhone was born on 2007. So if you are in the industry of web page or web system, you need somehow to make sure your interface is compatible with the small device. Okay, the small device. So this is where it comes. This is very important when you are trying to design your interface. So the design, the web design that we will be using is the responsive web design. Okay, the responsive web design. Uh, and then the responsive web design is basically to make sure your web or your interface, web interface, looks good on desktop, tablet, and phones. So basically, this is in order to achieve this, you need to hack the CSS. Somehow or other, it's much more easier to use Bootstrap lah. Okay, this is one of the CSS what we call framework, CSS framework that make your life easier to design a web responsive web design. Okay, to do the web responsive design. Okay, so this is Bootstrap, which is available in Bootstrap. For some facilities which is available in the Bootstrap. It will make your component or HTML form or something like that looks bigger in the web, or sorry, in the mobile screen. So basically, this is sort of the desktop layout, but somehow if you manage to employ the responsive design, you will see different interface as in the mobile screen. So this is what we call as responsive web design. So it will respond to your screen size. The web design will respond to your screen size. So all these notes or video related to PHP is also available inside our KLMS. All are available inside our KLMS. So if you like to know more on PHP, okay, you can add this subject TBMT 2053 into your subject list in KLMS. So now, today is more on theoretical side, on theoretical part, whereby we'll need to introduce you to the major tools, all the tools that we will be exploring. we have Bootstrap, we have responsive web design, we have the CSS framework. So now I would like to introduce you to the main star of our subject, which is the Laravel, or we call it the MVC framework. Okay, why we choose Laravel? Because it's one of the framework that support MVC. So what is MVC? I need to open the, sorry, where is it? Where is it? So our first class is more on overview lah. Okay, more on overview. Would like to show you the main parts of our subject. So the first assignment on your part is basically to install the development stack for Mac. Because if you are, I'm sorry, because I don't really into Mac. Okay, I don't really into Mac. I have never had a MacBook before. So that part I could not help. So you need to explore on how to install Laravel development stack into your MacBook. So this is what we will be focusing or exploring, which is what we call as MVC part of doing development. Okay, doing development. Wait, how to compare this? So let's say, if you like to have your program, okay, this is example of previously what we call as procedural PHP programming. This is how you do database connection previously in the vanilla PHP. What I mean with vanilla PHP is PHP programming that you do from scratch. Okay, that is what I meant by vanilla PHP. Okay, or sometimes I call it naked PHP. Okay, this is the previous way of doing PHP programming, whereby if let's say you would like to connect to your database, you need to do it one by one. First, you need to define the local host. Okay, then you need to define the username. Then you need to define the database of your the password of your database, and also the database name. And later you do the MySQL connect, okay, for the PHP to connect to your database. Then later you do some checking, sort of if let's say the connection is not found, then you need to notify or print out some message saying that the connection failed. And all these are written from scratch. Written means you need to code from scratch. So for instance, if you like to have your okay, this is how you display this is how you display. Previously, this is how you display your record. Okay, your record. So you need to check whether there's a result. Then you need to do the SQL coding, and then you need to do the while so that you can iterate from one record to another record. And here you need to echo each element of your record. And then you do the MySQL close or something like that. So the previous way of how we do the web programming or web system is by writing everything from scratch. You need to write everything from scratch. So that is the vanilla PHP or the previous way of doing PHP. I mean, I'm not saying that this framework or MVC style of doing PHP development is something that is very new. This has been around 15 years or 10 years previously. So what I'm saying is when you are learning when you are new with PHP, somehow you need to do the coding from scratch. Why? Because this is the easy way to convey the basic of PHP or web programming, and that is much more easier lah for you to understand, because the previous way of doing PHP is more on the procedural step by step coding. That's what we call procedural. Okay, step by step. Okay, somehow in this subject, what we are emphasizing is more on the OOP part, or object-oriented part, object-oriented programming, whereby you will do more on what we call as a reuse. Okay, more to reuse of API. API means the application programming interface, where all these API are written in form of a Laravel framework. What we need to do is simply by calling the right method, calling the right API to execute the task. That's more like it, meaning that yeah, you know PHP from this procedural coding. Okay, previously you know this PHP from procedural programming. Okay, but in this subject we will go for advanced way. That's why this subject is called advanced web application development. So we will be using what we call as rapid framework development, which is not the procedural development. So any question? I'm trying to convey the fundamental issue or the overview of what we are trying to explore in this subject for this semester. So any question? Ada apa-apa soalan sebelum tu? Saya tak start lagi. Saya lebih nak ceritakan overview. Lagipun korang punya sistem tak ready lagi. Siapa-siapa guna Windows boleh install Laravel, but unluckily, it's not unlucky lah. You need to do more if you are using the MacBook, because I don't have the instruction manual for the how to install Laravel in Mac. So ada apa-apa soalan?
So far tak ada, sir.
Okay.
Macam mana nak ada kesukaran tak? I mean, dah cuba tak download dah cuba explore Laravel on MacBook?
Belum lagi.
Belum lagi. So rasanya ada tak kesukaran kat situ?
Nanti explore kot macam tengok YouTube ke atau macam mana
Oh, okay.
cara nak install Laravel
Kita cari tahu dulu lah.
on MacBook.
So, korang punya experience dengan programming macam mana? From scale 1 to 5, korang nak declare berapa?
Aduh. Saya dah lama tinggal.
Okay.
I think 10 years back, 10, 11 years back.
Dari scale 1 ke 5, nak bagi berapa?
Berapa ya? 3.
3. Alhamdulillah. Sebab saya okey, Amar 3, lain Syikir berapa?
Sama lah, saya sama.
Sama lah.
3 tertinggi tu sebenarnya.
Hari ni.
2.5 Asa.
Tak apa. Jangan risau nak declare 1. Tapi kita tak ada masa lah nak explore everything from start. Because prior to Laravel, you need to know PHP lah. Okay, you need to know PHP.
Okay.
Macam PHP tu pun one semester punya course kan. So kalau nak buat crash course boleh lah. Tapi on your time lah. So that's why I provide you the video or the materials on PHP. If you like to know more on PHP or if you like to revise more on PHP, then you can head to apa tadi? TBTM.
TBTM 2053.
Okay, 2053. Okay, boleh explore lah. Boleh explore. Kalau ada masa boleh explore. Sebab previously I test Laravel on non PHP programmer. Memang kan ada masalah lah. Maksudnya dia tak pernah experience dengan PHP, suddenly dia belajar Laravel. Boleh buat, tapi on the fundamentals, dia lack on the fundamental part which is the PHP lah. Dia boleh buat, cumanya itulah dia ambil masa sikit. Tapi kalau you have experience in PHP and then you move to Laravel, it will be much more easier lah. Okay, I would like to introduce you to Laravel. So basically, Laravel is a framework. This is overview introduction. Saya tak expect you nak buat programming ke no, not yet. Mungkin next week, mungkin kita boleh buat start dengan Laravel programming. But what I would like to demonstrate is basically mana? Okay, I'm not trying to demonstrate anything. Okay, I would like to just convey this overview lah. Okay, I would like just to convey this overview. So basically, this is what we call routing. This is what we call MVC. Okay, this is very important approach in rapid prototype development, which we will be using MVC. Okay, MVC. We call it a view controller model. Okay, why they introduce this Mvc framework, or we call it a design pattern, because the problem with vanilla or plain PHP is you need to do everything from scratch. You need to do everything from scratch. By doing everything from scratch, the developer tend to not following the standard or the convention. Okay, why? Because what happened when you do sort of your own style of coding, okay, or your own way of coding is you you will be having some sort of issue keseragaman lah. Your code will not be uniform. Your code will not follow the standard. Okay, what happened when your code does not follow the standards? Somebody else that will inherit or take over your system will find it very difficult to read your pattern. Okay, that's why this MVC is called the design pattern. Pattern tu maksudnya cara ataupun macam mana orang tu menulis kod susah nak dipredik, susah nak difahami. Sebab apa? Sebab korang ada standard korang sendiri. Okay, setiap developer ni dia ada idea dia sendiri. Dia ada kepala dia sendiri. Sebagai contoh, kalau dulu korang suka we call it how you define variable. Okay, previously you define variables such as A1, A2, A3, A4. What's wrong with this variable name? One is you cannot guess what is inside. Okay, what is the variable for? Maksudnya korang tak faham variable ni untuk apa. And then bila korang sendiri tulis kod tu dan korang akan lupa. You will forgot what is this variable for. Obviously you sendiri akan lupa. Then you expect orang lain yang akan take over your system or your development process. You expect dia juga faham. Dalam korang tak sediakan documentation, you don't provide the documentation. And then you expect people to understand your code. That is impossible. That is ridiculous. Why? Kalau kau yang tulis kod tersebut pun kau tak faham, kau jangan expect orang lain untuk faham. Okay, that's why they introduce what we call as the design pattern. Why? Because using this MVC or view controller, you will see that everything has been standardized. Semuanya akan diseragamkan. So that kalau siapa-siapa yang gunakan MVC dalam Laravel ni, orang lain yang ada experience dengan Laravel, dia akan mudah faham apa yang korang buat. Kenapa itu penting? Sebab dalam industri programming atau development biasanya, most likely, developer yang on demand ni, dia tak akan stay pada satu company 1 ataupun 2 tahun. Okay, dia tak akan lama lah. You won't be long because somehow kalau you are a very competent developer ataupun programmer, biasanya kau akan dapat offer kat tempat lain dengan gaji yang lebih lumayan lah. Itu biasanya lah, itulah pattern dia. Unless you comfortable with one company and then you don't want to move, then that is a different story lah. But pattern dalam kalangan developer ni ataupun programmer ni, kalau dia terror, memang dia akan suka lompat-lompat. Why? Sebabnya dia akan dapat offer yang lebih baik lah kalau dia melompat, kalau dia cari tempat lain. But issue dan juga sekarang ni banyak je contract punya position, meaning that 2 tahun, okay, dia akan move to another place, dan your task or your function or your role will be changed, will be switch to somebody else lah. Memang dia akan itu biasa dalam development punya environment. Sebab tu that's why we need some sort of uniformity, meaning that macam mana nak seragamkan kod itu. Macam mana nak seragamkan code itu. Jadi MVC ni diperkenalkan, this is what we call as Mvc Design Pattern. Okay, Design Pattern. Basically this is programming pattern lah. Okay, kalau nak katakan dia lebih kepada programming pattern and standard. Dia nak standardize kan, macam mana you tulis variable, macam mana you tulis function name. So that the next person who took over your project, they will easily know what you are doing lah. Itu yang dia nak. Okay, kalau siapa-siapa yang pernah experience dengan vanilla PHP punya style of coding, dia akan kepayahan lah, orang lain akan kepayahan untuk baca kod dia. Kesukaran lah untuk baca kod dia. Sebab apa? Sebab setiap developer ni dia ada kepala dia sendiri. Dia akan create dia punya cara dia sendiri. Dia akan create dia punya design pattern dia sendiri. Sebab kalau dia pandai, memang dia akan create their own design pattern lah. Okay, dia akan create dia punya style dia sendiri. Yang mana dia akan menyusahkan orang lain untuk take over. Itu sebabnya dia perkenalkan Laravel MVC. Jangan confuse, Laravel is basically the framework that is provided based on PHP. Laravel is development stack, or we call it development environment lah, development environment. Whereby inside the Laravel you have the PHP plugin, yes. You have the Apache web server. Yang penting lah untuk kita buat web development, and also the database, the MySQL database. Sebenarnya ada banyak facilities yang dah readily available. Okay, contohnya macam login logout facilities tu dah already built in inside Laravel. Okay, then banyak benda dia dah sediakan lah, dia dah sediakan. Contohnya macam kod. Okay, dia dah sediakan banyak kod, dan dia dah sediakan macam-macam lah okay, keperluan untuk macam contohnya macam mana nak buat pagination. Okay, macam mana nak buat search. Okay, dia dah banyak yang dah disediakan. Kita cuma kena tahu how to invoke the function. Macam mana kita nak panggil function tersebut. Macam ni kan. Ini adalah antara benda yang biasa yang dah ada dalam Laravel. Okay, ini semua ni dah ada dah. Semua ni dah ada what we call as threshold. Okay, threshold. Scaffold. We call it scaffolding. So interface ni semua dah ada dia dah built in, contoh dia. Dia dah ada lah. Korang tinggal panggil je. Tak perlu nak create from scratch. So itu antara kelebihan dia lah bila kita gunakan framework. That's the bright side lah of using framework. Not so-called the best part is basically because Laravel ataupun framework ni dia dah ada banyak benda dalam tu. Jadi you kena tahulah which function to call, which library to use. Itu antara cabaran dia lah. Itu antara cabaran dia. Maksudnya bila kita dah familiar dengan yang from scratch tu ataupun vanilla PHP, suddenly you nak move kepada satu paradigm, or we call it MVC paradigm. The first month tu you will suffer lah a lot because it's something like you learn a new language lah. It's something like you learn a new language. Macam you belajar satu language yang baru, dia memang akan ada learning curve lah. Meaning that you akan rasa macam tak comfortable. Okay, tak comfortable. Kenapa? Sebab previously you dah selesa dengan PHP dengan cara yang biasa. Suddenly you nak move kepada something new yang lain daripada norma kita lah kan. Okay, contohnya macam kita kita pindah Korea, kita nak kena makan kimchi diorang, mungkin dia akan ada ambil masa sikit lah nak membiasakan diri dengan kimchi, dengan apa dengan dia punya apa paste kacang soya dia tu, semua kebanyakannya fermented. Okay. Tapi along the way tu nanti you akan kata Laravel ni lagi bagus. Tapi awal-awal dia tu macam you naik basikal lah. Okay, you naik basikal. Kita ada banyak jatuh, stumble, dan kita tak biasa nak balance basikal tu. So mungkin 2-3 kali naik basikal baru you akan appreciate. Okay, antara naik basikal dengan jalan kaki. Dan kemudian you nak naik kereta kan, dan you ada learning curve. Belajar naik kereta, you kena ambil lesen semua tu. So itu adalah semua learning curve. Bendanya sama aja. Naik basikal nak memudahkan untuk kita bergerak. Naik kereta, memandu kereta nak memudahkan kita bergerak daripada satu tempat ke satu tempat yang lain. Purpose dia sama aja. Vehicle tu sama aja. Cumanya the way how you operate, you need to have some sort of a learning curve lah, atau kita namakan tempoh pembelajaran. Okay, tempoh pembelajaran. The learning curve tu kadang-kadang yang kita akan suffer sikit lah. Okay, yang kita akan suffer sikit. Ambil lesen kereta, suddenly dia kena repeat banyak kali kan, sebab bila sampai bukit tu dia turun undur ke belakang balik. Okay, you need to familiarize dengan kaedah-kaedah tu lah. So you need to have a new learning curve. Okay, dan itu biasalah, itu biasa. Okay, mungkin sebulan ataupun awal-awal bila you belajar Laravel ni you akan ada masalah ataupun isu untuk familiarize kan. Okay, sebab dia lebih kurang macam PHP, tapi kita terpaksa, we need to explore more on the OOP part. Okay, OOP part. Okay, OOP part. Sebut pasal OOP ni saya nak I would like to explain more on the object-oriented programming PHP style. Ada sebenarnya dalam slide ni. Sekejap saya cari. Okay. So basically OOP tu adalah object oriented programming. Okay, object oriented programming. So kita ada class dan object. Kita ada class dan object. Normally yang kita confuse class ni dan object. Class ni basically API tu, ataupun we call it application programming interface. Dan class yang kita maksudkan kalau in Laravel, in PHP or in what we call Mvc Framework, class is basically comes from Laravel. Okay, the Laravel classes. And object ni apa yang kita pakai lah, what we are defining the class. Because if you like to design or if you like to create a car, you need to have the blueprint lah. Okay, you need to have the blueprint or the design of the car. So before you can have your object or execute functioning, okay, you need to have the class. Okay, you need to have the class or the specification part of your program. So somehow you need to know what is function in PHP. So this is function. Normally, if you are doing a procedural programming, function is very important. Okay, why function is important? Because by using function, you can actually segregate your task, or you can try to minimize or kecilkan je lah. Okay, to simplify one function. You can what we call it as you can segregate. Okay, you can segregate the task. By using the function, you can segregate the tasks of your system. And by using function also, we can call this function again at a different place. You boleh panggil function ni kat tempat lain. Meaning that reuse. You can reuse. Okay, you can reuse. So that is function. So in modular PHP programming, or in procedural PHP programming, you can split. Okay, you can split your functions into several tasks. Okay, you can have multiple functions so that your system can be arranged in such a way that it will make you easier to. This is what we call as segregation lah. Segregation. Segregation. So meaning that if you trying to, katakan you nak buat satu program, so ada AJK untuk bagian makanan, there's a committee untuk registration, there's committee for jaga parking contohnya kan, there's committee for jaga protokol, committee jaga protokol. So these are sort of functions or smaller committee yang akan bentuk program ni jadi perfect lah, ataupun jadi untuk selesaikan masalah tu. Okay, katakan kita nak run program, so kita nak run satu acara, okay, call it acara lah. Okay, we like to run an event, so there's committee for each task. So these tasks can be you can see these tasks as functions. Okay, that's why you need to segregate function, because if you do everything from start until the end in one file, contohnya dalam satu function, dia akan samalah macam satu orang dia buat semua kerja. Dia akan jadi havoc lah, dia akan jadi chaos. Tapi kalau katakan kita segregate into several function ataupun segregate into several committees, so each committee akan buat task dia sendiri. So dengan segregation ni dia akan mudah untuk kita manage lah. Okay, so that satu function tak buat macam tak buat semua kerja. Katakan satu main function buat semua kerja, itu tak efficient lah. Kalau satu function kita split into that's how we do segregation in programming. We call it segregation of tasks. So you boleh split kepada beberapa function. So let's say this function to accept file input, this another function to do tokenization, and another function to do post tagging. So these are the process or the function segregation that at the end will produce the output. Okay, output. Maksudnya kita nak buat acara, contohnya nak buat acara, kat ujung nanti kita akan selesaikan acara. So along the way tu committee kena function, kena berfungsi, kena bekerja. So this is the PHP for OOP. Basically, when you have a class, when you have one class, you can also inside the class you will see methods and properties. Okay, method and properties. Okay, so this is, let's say, a class for fruit, and then this is a function. This is another function inside the class fruit. So this is what we call as this is method or function, and this is what we call as attribute. Okay, these are some sort of attribute. So inside the class function, you have the function. Inside the class, you may have attribute and also functions. It's something like this. Mana tadi? Ni. Dalam satu kelas kita ada method, kita ada properties. Properties ni macam attribute tadi tu lah. Okay, dalam kelas fruit kita ada function set name, ada get name. These are functions or method. and name and color, or we call it properties or attribute. Name, color, properties, ciri-ciri dia. Okay, kelas ni ada ciri-ciri apa? Nama dia apa? Warna dia apa? Tinggi dia berapa? That is ciri-ciri ataupun properties. Yang ini pun penting juga. This is also important because when you create a class, sometimes you need a constructor. We call it constructor. So in PHP, this is a constructor. A constructor is defined using a function named construct. Okay, with the underscore, double underscore in front of this construct. So this is a function, a special function in a class whereby we call it a constructor. A constructor. A constructor is basically will be called when a class is instantiated from an object is instantiated from a class. Contohnya kalau you nak gunakan kelas ini, you kena create object. So object ni bila dia define, bila kita initialize dia, it will call this first function yang namanya construct. So kalau dalam Java you ada constructor, dalam Java constructor dia nama sama dengan kelas. Kalau nama sama dengan kelas dalam Java itu adalah constructor. Tapi dalam PHP yang kita akan explore ni, constructor dia guna kaedah macam ni lah. Double underscore kat bawah tu, double underscore and then construct. So this is what we call constructor in PHP object-oriented programming. Then later you will see such simbol lah. Dia ada banyak simbol. Nanti kita akan nampak ada double dot ni 2 kali. Kita ada arrow. Okay, kita ada arrow inheritance. Mana tadi? Nanti kita akan nampak arrow. Macam ni arrow. Kita ada arrow. Ada arrow. Ni arrow. Ada arrow. Arrow ni adalah apa we call it? It can be properties, it can be attribute, it can be method lah. Tapi sebelum arrow tu normally you need to mention the object name. Object name. So this is how you access a properties or method from another class or another object by using arrow. Arrow tu adalah tanda arrow tu lah. So nanti kita akan nampak dalam bentuk macam ni lah when you are coding with Laravel. Nanti kita akan nampak lebih kurang macam ni. So here we have the library or the import. Okay, this is the import. Use means import, and you have the class training controller, extends controller. Then you can see here some sort of method. In PHP, you need to mention the function keyword. So to identify this is a function or this is a method. And then this is construct. This is what we call as function name. So this we will be exploring this inside the Laravel. So as I mentioned, this session is only to overview. Okay, this is part where we are. I would like to convey what is the expectation of the the expectation of this class. So that at the end of the subject, you will have a web system developed using this Laravel framework that has the ability to create, read or search or update and delete the records. And also we will do some sort of authentication, login, logout. So that is the expectation of this class. Okay, so for the assignment or the task, maybe you would like to install Laragon for Windows user. Somehow you need to set up your Mac to prepare for the development stack. So inside the Mac, you need to have Apache web server, PHP interpreter, and also the database, which is the MySQL. And also you need to know how to use the command line. We need to somehow use the command line. Okay, we need to use the command line. maybe for the overview part, we'll leave you with a video. Okay, I will leave you with a video that will show you the overview of how to develop system using Laravel. So I will provide you one video. Okay, mana ya? Okay, I love this video. Scaffolding yang membantu kita buat authentication. Authentication ni maksudnya kita boleh create login untuk register dengan cepat. So recap daripada tutorial 1 sebelum ni, kita ada Laravel, install Laravel, so this video will expose you to the overview of using Laravel in web application development. Okay, but for the English version, I need to wait for your for all of you whether actually I'm not decide yet which Laravel version to proceed. So we have currently Laravel 8. Okay, Laravel version 8. Currently we have Laravel version 8. So I'll be waiting next week whether your system will can cater for Laravel 8 or Laravel 7. So next week I would like to have your Mac or Windows ready. Okay, so I will ask you to test a few things. Okay, since we have people with the Mac version and also the one group with Windows version. I will decide next week whether we will go with a Laravel 7 or Laravel 8. I prefer Laravel 7 because is for me it's quite easy to explore compared to Laravel 8, because normally the advanced version is more complicated normally lah. The bad news about this Laravel is I believe next September they will have Laravel 9. Okay, the Laravel 8 is not is released on May last year. Laravel 8 is released May last year, and they will be having Laravel 9 on September, I believe. So the problem, that's not good news actually. I don't like that because the previous version of I did 20 videos on Laravel 7, and suddenly they released Laravel 8, meaning that my video is not that current. Okay, it's not that current. Later I will decide whether we will proceed with Laravel 7 or Laravel 8, because if we decide to move to Laravel 8, then I will need to redo the videos, all the videos. of the tutorial of Laravel. So that's the bad news lah. My plan is to wait for Laravel 9 so that I can update the videos. But somehow or other, September is too far, and normally when they release a new Laravel version, there's a lot of problem. There will be a lot of problem. So you need to wait until 2 or 3 months to make sure it is stable. Okay, then 2 or 3 months means next year lah. But let's see next week whether we will proceed with Laravel 7 or Laravel 8. It depends on your system actually. Depends on your system. So next week I will decide. So make sure to install Laravel development stack on your PC, on your Mac, so that we'll decide which one to proceed, whether 7 or 8. But somehow or other I will be doing the English version of this class tutorial, the English version. But I have not decided yet whether we'll go for Laravel 7 or Laravel 8. Most likely I will go for Laravel 8, but wait until next week whether your Mac or your PC support Laravel 8 or not. Okay, so any question? On my part, I finished the introduction. Okay, I finished the introduction. By right, the assignment is very simple to install Laragon. Okay, on your PC, or to install the Laravel development stack on your MacBook. Any question so far?
For me, tak ada. So far, okay.
So far tak ada sih.
So far tak ada. So my expectation is this class is programming class. I'm not sure whether you have strong background in programming or not, but I'm sure that you are familiar with PHP. So I hope you all the best with that lah. Selamat Hari Raya lah.
You guys,
Sir, apa ni yang apa nak cakap tadi? Because I actually back in 2009 I buat final project tu masa I degree. So I tengok yang saya cakap vanilla.
So you better revise ni lah.
That's why
Okay.
I macam
Sure.
right. That's why.
Tak apa. You can speak. You can ask in Malay or in English. No problem. It's okay.
Alright.
But I'm trying to develop the video tutorial in English. So I have not decided whether to go for version 7 or 8. The difference is not that. It's not that. I mean, it's not much different now between Laravel 7 and Laravel 8. But somehow I need to know whether your system can support Laravel 8 or not. That's what that's one important factor lah. But I keen on developing video tutorial for Laravel 8. I'm looking forward for that because currently we are in Laravel 8. That makes my previous video obsolete. That's why I need to update to Laravel 8. But considering Laravel 9 will be released this September, then itulah macam dilema nak buat Laravel 9 ke Laravel 8. Tapi tak apalah, saya tunggu. Mungkin saya akan buat Laravel 8 ni yang simple saja untuk purpose of this class je lah. And then Laravel 9 tu mungkin saya akan buat yang serius. Sebab semua video ni boleh access daripada YouTube dan is available for public. Dan ada sebahagian yang memang saya ni lah saya provide secara percuma dan ada juga yang saya provide secara berbayar. Tapi untuk kelas ni saya akan bagi semua lah. Tak masalah. Cumanya itulah saya undecided lagi sebenarnya nak buat Laravel 7 ke 8. Saya rasa saya nak move to Laravel 8 dah. Tapi saya nak pastikan you punya sistem tu boleh cater Laravel 8. Tapi nak make sure tu, nak tahu tu minggu depan lah baru kita boleh tahu. Tapi kalau siapa-siapa yang nak explore Laravel secara secara overview macam tadi saya tunjukkan, mungkin itu boleh you akan nampak perbezaan jelas antara Laravel dengan PHP biasa. Video yang saya provide tu. Itu bukan untuk kita follow, just demo, boleh tengok sajalah macam mana proses dia. So that nanti you akan nampak dia punya significant difference antara PHP yang biasa dengan Laravel. Apa yang membuatkan dia menarik lah. Apa yang menyebabkan Laravel ni lebih baik daripada plain vanilla PHP. Cumanya bila kita belajar something yang tertakluk kepada vendor, macam Laravel ni dia ada vendor dia, ada developer dia, yang mana they are too keen to update each year, itu memang sakit lah. Tapi kalau macam PHP ni, kalau kita belajar 10 tahun lepas pun dia lebih kurang sama je. Kalau PHP yang biasa ni, dia lebih kurang sama je dengan apa yang available sekarang ni. Lebih kurang lah, walaupun sekarang kita pada PHP 8. Tapi dia tak adalah significant changes macam yang Laravel buat. Memang tak banyak berbeza, tapi dia dah jadi macam Laravel 7 ni tak compatible dengan Laravel 8. You need to upgrade or somehow. Jadi apa yang saya buat dalam tutorial Laravel 7 tu macam dah tak boleh pakai untuk Laravel 8. Dan sebab saya buat video tu banyak juga. So somehow saya terpaksa update kepada Laravel 8 lah. Lepas tu bila saya siap video Laravel 8, bulan 9 ni dia release Laravel 9. Tu antara kadang-kadang dilema nak buat video tutorial ni. Sebab dia Laravel ni dia terlalu cepat lah dia berubah. Sebab dia antara framework yang baru compared dengan CodeIgniter ataupun PHP. Dia orang dah ada agak stable. Sebab banyak features dah ada. Jadinya dia taklah rapidly update. Kalau setahun sekali nak update, then kita akan ada masalah besar lah. Okay, tak apa yang tu. Nanti kita decide next week. We'll decide whether we'll go for Laravel 7 or Laravel 8.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Nak tengok you punya sistem boleh support tak Laravel 8. Okay, terima kasih banyak.
Sir.
Ya. Yeah.
Kalau boleh support Laravel 8, so we install Laravel 8 lah. Or
Mungkin kita akan pergi kepada Laravel 8.
okay.
Cuma saya tak maksudnya saya dah prepare materials tu banyak kepada Laravel 7 sebenarnya. So, kalau buat Laravel 8 maksudnya saya nak kena prepare materials yang baru lah. Itu je beza dia.
Kalau boleh install Laravel 7, so install Laravel 7 ke macam mana?
Mungkin lah, tengok macam mana nanti. Kalau you boleh support Laravel 8, mungkin kita akan pergi Laravel 8. Kalau korang punya machine hanya support Laravel 7, then we'll go for Laravel 7.
Okay.
Let's see next week.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Any more question? Okay, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum. Dah ni attendance?
Dah, sir.
Semua dah boleh access LMS?
Dah.
Boleh Okay.
Password yang tadi sir.
ABCD 1 2 3 4. Itu default. Then you need to reset the password later lah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Assalamualaikum.
Selamat Raya.
Salam.
Salam.